Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna do something quite interesting. It's basically there is an update in Sverchok. It's now allowing this monad loop. Basically, you can do iterations inside a monad, which means you can kind of have like a setup of, for example, like an extrusion or an inset or whatever design you have, and kind of iterate over the group monad. So okay, so let's just get started. This example was actually borrowed from the designer of this setup, Zevi. So it's just gonna be an inset of an object. Let's say I start with a grid mesh. So plane MK2, and I'll create a fewer draw, and I'll create inset. I think it's inset special. Yep. So if you plug this vertices and polygon into this node, you kind of know what it's gonna generate, like just an inset. I'll make it like 5 by 5, which means 4 by 4 polygon face. I'm gonna save this. This is a monad loop simple. And let me think. Maybe in order to make this a little bit more interesting, I will also create random number for this guy, and then there is this ignore options. Basically, if you plug in a list of value like 0 and 1, or true or false, this will ignore that polygon face. I'll show you what I mean. So if I just, this is the default random number generator, I'll change it to between 0 and 1 for low and high. As a result, I'm gonna get like a 0 and 1 value here, like this. The number of the total number should match the number of the polygon. For now, I'll just leave it like this and then have a look. So this is what we get because we have this number. But if you want a proper one, instead of letting this filling the list itself, we want the proper total number to match the total number of the polygon face. So I'm gonna use list length to find the total number of the polygon. Let's have a look. So it's a 16. We just simply plug that into the size, and whoops, delete the stethoscope, and now we are good to go. We can randomize, and then you can see whether it's a 0 or 1 or false or true, it will get this inset operation applied to it. The next, we can also play around with the distance, etc. But the next thing we want to do is to put this inside the monad. So this 1, 2, 3. So this is the input, this is the output. Just like in any monad setup, you want to select the one in the middle. For the monad loop to work, the inputs and the outputs needs to be the same. In this case, it's polygon mesh data, vertices and polygons. They too will kind of loop and cycle many times. So let's try. Select the one in the middle, tap spacebar, monad, create monad from selected nodes. Now we are inside the monads environment, and you can see it's perfectly working. Let's increase the distance a little bit, and we go outside, and you can see there's a monad here. I'll call this inset. There's a new option. You can see the loop right here. This is really cool actually. Once you turn it on and then increase this number, you will see some kind of magic happening if I'm doing this correctly. Normally I just turn it on and then run it and it should work. Maybe I did it wrongly, so I'll check again. So polygon data goes in here, and then inset special. Maybe make inner should be 0, but that's not correct. So let me try again. Maybe there's a bug here. I'll try again. So we start with a plane, and then we have viewer draw, create a monad, inset, plug in the data. Oh, actually, the data and vertices is in the opposite way. That's interesting. Let's go inside, have a look. Vertices should go to vertices and polygon to polygon. Okay, be careful with this. Seems like this is very, very dangerous. Otherwise, nothing will work. Interesting. I'll get rid of this and plug this again manually. So vertices and polygon goes into list length, and make inner, doesn't matter. Let's go up again, plug in the vertices, plug in the polygons, and we are not getting anything. Okay, I forgot to turn on the loop. Well, cool, now it's working. Well, I was almost worried that back then. So, but anyway, this is what you get if you generate the loop and the grid. So yeah, this is very, very powerful. You get a lot of interesting effects simply by using the loop. And this should, let me try. If this is for the seed and we go up and then we play with the seed, we should get a different result. So this is very, very interesting. Let's make it like 5 by 5, and you can easily get very complex kind of result like this. That's if you are using just a plane. Imagine if you are using something like an icosphere, for example. Let me try that. Create another monad, so it's not limited to just a single monad node. Turn on the loop. It's giving an error, but we actually need some kind of data in order for this to work. So vertices and polygon, don't get that mixed up, otherwise you get funny result. And have a look. So this is icosphere with this inset monad. Can play around with the radius, increase the subdivision. So you can see it's keep building the inset and the extrusion. But the interesting bit is actually not how you change this part, but if you increase the number of loop. Turn on loop and increase the number. There you go. Currently 4 is the maximum hard-coded number. It's in the nodes. Sometimes you go too far, like if you accidentally make 10, of course Blender will get frozen. But it will work. I think the limit of 4 loop is actually okay. I mean, it's a good limit for now. Definitely give this a try and then kind of play around with it. See what you can come up with. With such simple operation, you can get this very interesting result. You can use all kind of operations that Sverchok offers. Things like extrude, of course, and then Boolean operations. Let me check. Normally I just Shift A and type in whatever, but if I properly look at it, I think visualization, list, logic, matrix, vector noise will be interesting, but any kind of operators. Transform analyzer. KD3 will be interesting with the monad loop. So yeah, this is anyway the quick way you can generate a lot of interesting looking design simply by, you know, using loop. It's gonna look like very complicated. The one thing I want to try is like maybe you can start with like a grease pencil, and then perhaps you're creating like some kind of branching, and then in the next loop it will generate more branching, and then so on and so on, so you can easily create like a tree. But that's still something I need to think about. But anyway, this is it pretty much for this live noding. Let me know what you think. Give me some ideas and ask me question and tell me what you create with this. And yeah, I like to see that. And then thanks again anyway for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.